Hello everyone and welcome to the Hear2Listen podcast. Today I'm here with myself, Jack, Adam.
Hello.
Leon.
Yo, yo.
And Max.
Easy.
Easy. And today we're going to be talking about lockdown lifting and just some of our opinions on it and basically what we've heard from social media and just talking to family and friends. But I'm going to pass you on to Leon. He's going to start the conversation off.
So I thought it'd be a good idea because I feel like we are in a weird space at the minute where there's some people that are really relaxed about like lockdown rules and maybe getting a little bit too close and maybe pushing the boundaries by getting too close to their friends and family. And then we've got people on the complete opposite side. Like when I went to Matalan for the first time in like 3 months, the lady behind the till made us stand 2 meters behind before she'd even come forward to the till to scan our shopping in. So I feel like we're just in a bit of a funny middle time where there's going to be people going out there. So I thought if we go around and sort of ask each other how we feel and how we're going to move forward about the lockdown.
Well, actually I do have one. It's just come to my head. Mm-hmm. When I go on a dog walk, all right, there's a path and the path is at least 2 meters wide. All right, so it's not going to keep you 2 meter distance.
Agreed.
But I did see on the news, it says you got to be in the same room for at least 15 minutes for you to have a high chance of you actually catching the virus. So when I'm walking past people on my dog walk, they don't need to hide in a bush to escape from me because I'm literally passing them. Unless I cough in their face or sneeze in their face, I can completely understand trying to completely avoid me. But you don't have to bury yourself in a bush just to like get that extra inch away from me. So I feel like I'm on the other side where I'm less cautious than most people.
It's weird you say that, Jack, man, because literally yesterday I took a walk down to the co-op, the local co-op, had to get some milk or whatever it was, can't remember what it was, but I took a stroll down there. On my way back, some guy walking towards me, and he must have been about 40, 50 yards, maybe 60 yards away, and I see that he'd noticed me, I'd obviously noticed him, and it's that social awkwardness that happens after that. It's like, I know in my mind he wants me to move, and he hasn't said that, but I can tell by the way that he's looking. He sort of stopped, then he started, then he stopped, then he started very slightly in his movement, which made it seem like it was definitely that sort of situation. So I took a step out onto the road, and then I was walking with one leg on the road, one leg on the path. So now I'm walking like a lunatic. I just don't know what I look like, right? But he walked past, he smiled, he said, "Thanks very much." Like, he was so happy that I'd done it. Part of me didn't want to do it because, you know what? Like you said, like, I've heard a lot of stuff from various sources about the same thing that you just said, Jack, where the only way that really you're going to pick this up off someone is being in the room close to them for 15 minutes or more or something like that. Now, I'm not a full believer of that. I'm not saying that's gospel, but when you're talking about this 2 meter distance and all this, that and the other, and it's just like, if it's airborne and if it's put out in the air, whatever, I don't understand it fully.
But
the whole 2 meter thing don't seem right anyway. It's just like, I don't know.
So some of the people that you see, obviously we don't know whether they have someone in their family that could be high risk. Or in their head, they might be thinking, I don't know what this guy's thinking coming towards me. Is he going to expect me to move out of the way? So is he just being polite, or are they being like sort of are they overdoing it?
Well, like you say, if you have got an underlying health condition and you do catch a virus, it could kill you. Like, you'd be freaking out every time you approach someone else. So like, I can completely understand that. But it doesn't pass through the air, through traveling through the air. It passes through saliva, like getting into your body and like things that you wiping your face or touching your eyes after you've touched. Yeah, like droplets. So it's like, if I walk past you, you're not just going to get the coronavirus. Like, and most people don't even have it. So I'm completely on the other side.
Yeah,
you can tell by the way I'm preaching.
So then, Jack, lockdown lifting, how likely are you to push the boundaries?
Well, I won't be breaking any laws if that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'll be taking advantage of everything that they do give me access to. So anytime they say that you can meet more friends.
So yeah, I'm with you as well. So I've probably got less friends to meet now. I'm a little bit older in sort of big groups.
Just for a bit of context, Leon, and actually more for myself, could you just encompass what lockdown lifting means? What are the restrictions that are now
Okay, so
lessened?
At the minute, we're on the 3rd of June. So at the moment, we're allowed to meet up to 6 people from 6 different households in a private outdoor space or in an outdoor space. So you could have up to 6 people in your garden. Now, people, from my understanding, if you haven't got a back gate and no one can come around the back, they're allowed to come through your house, but they have to go straight through to your garden, and they're only allowed to go inside to use your toilet. That's my understanding at the moment.
I've got one thing to say.
Well,
how are they going to police this? Is this something that they're putting out there for people to take advice from and maybe follow, or is this a law?
Well, I read something else. Obviously, this is social media, so I don't know. It was something. It was like a little article about your rights and what the rights the police have. So they don't actually have the right to arrest you for breaking lockdown, but obviously they can fine you.
Okay.
But they also don't have the right to break into your house. But if they believe, it's a bit of a weird one, because if they believe criminal activity is going on in that house, then they can break into it. So then, is 2 people going in your house, is that really criminal activity?
That's what I'm about to say. If you're within 1 metre of someone, or you've got 7 people in your house, is that classed as criminal activity?
Yeah. It depends. We just don't know what they're going to treat it like. But it all blows my mind in the sense that before all this lockdown lifting started, the guidelines that you just read out, Leon, before that come into play, it's like the whole thing contradicts itself. And even before this stuff, these guidelines come into place, when they were saying that no one was allowed in the house, you weren't allowed to mix, but you're allowed the cleaner in. And it don't make sense, does it?
Nah.
That just doesn't make sense. Like, so what? You're not allowed your family in, but you're allowed a cleaner who's potentially going to another 15 houses that day or week. That didn't make sense to me. And it's like the whole thing, like, that you can have 6 houses. If you can have 6 people from 6 different houses come round, those 6 people can also go to 6 other houses. Do you know what I mean? It can. It just goes on and on and on. So potentially, we're not doing anything other than downsizing our social network. That's what we're doing.
That's what they want you to do.
Well, is it? That's what I mean. I want to just bring it to the fact that, like, there is so many different opinions. There's so much news. There's so much fake news. So much other bits going around. There's so many people are different. As you've experienced, we've all spoke about, we've all seen. Everyone handles things differently. Before these latest guidelines come through, how many people do you know that was actually adhering to the ones before? Like, I know 50-50. I know 50% of the people I knew was doing it. I know that there was another 50% that actually thought, you know what, I ain't doing this. I've seen barbecues going on, I've seen parties going on locally, all sorts of stuff. So it's like, there's always going to be a mixed bag of who follows what.
Yeah, so, like I was saying earlier, we're just in this weird space at the minute where there's loads of people really fearful and following the rules, and there's other people that maybe have had enough of them and don't think it's as bad as it is, but of course it is still a risk out there, so I don't want to say that. So when I'm out and about and social media, you do see people, and I've been seeing like groups of kids playing football in the park, or like 5 or 6 teenagers sort of walking down the road together, probably closer than 2 meters because they're not walking sort of single line and stuff like that. Don't know, like, do you feel like they're really doing wrong?
It's a tough one. It's hard. You think of what it'd be like, it being their age again, like literally, and being told that you cannot go. You're grounded. You're basically grounded, right? You're not going out. That's basically what it is, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
like, you imagine, would you be able to adhere to it?
In my head, I can't be mad at them, because if they're gonna open up schools, and even if they social distance within schools, let's say if there's 15 students in a classroom all day long, if there's one kid in there that's got the virus, it's probably going to spread throughout the classroom. So if the same amount of people, let's say if you're meeting 5 to 10 friends in a field, you're less likely to spread than you would be if you was in a classroom full of kids.
All right, I don't have kids, but would any of you send your kids back to school now?
Good question, because I had a family member round yesterday, come round the garden. It was his little boy's first birthday party, and his little girl is due to go back. She's only young, and he's adamant that he is not leaving her there until he has gone in and seen exactly how they are planning to run it, what sort of environment it is. Yeah, just reassurance, because what he don't want to send his little girl in to come back from a sort of concentration type camp place where they're not allowed to speak or near their friends. Yeah, sit in these bubbles. It's just, I wouldn't.
Yeah, on that. Sorry, mate. I went to my dad's restaurant to pick up some food the other day, and I was speaking to his partner, and she's got a kid that they've opened up their school. And she said out of the whole school, only 30 students across like all the ages that are allowed to go in are actually going in. And she was saying they sent over to her all like the list of like the rules and the precautions, stuff like that. So it turned out, so they weren't allowed to sit near anyone. Yeah. They had no breaks, so there's no like lunch breaks or anything like that during school. And like they had to eat on their own and everything like that. So she was like, it's more like sending them to a prison for the day.
So it's more mentally damaging for a young person to experience that than what they are at home on technology and not within the education system.
And she's saying they're going to be in like sort of mixed year groups, so you wouldn't know, so that what they're learning probably not going to actually benefit them sort of education wise. But yeah, sorry, Jack, go on.
Yeah, so you're saying that, but they're sending year ones or reception in year ones back.
Yeah.
What year one in reception, what do they need to learn at this point in their life? It's so needed that they have to potentially risk their health just to go into a school.
Shall I tell you what I believe it?
Go on.
I think, I don't know, Adam, you might correct me on this, or you might agree, I don't know, because I think at that age, it's all about socialising with others and the hands-on approach. When they're that young, the year ones and receptions and stuff, it's very much getting them out and mixing with other children so they can learn from other children and just be sociable.
But the whole point of them going back is them not being able to mix and trying to make it safe. So what is the point in them going back? You're better off teaching them from home and then, I don't know, getting them to Skype call their friends every day for like an hour and they can have a chat. Like, that seems more beneficial than sending them to a place where they can't mix with people. They're learning things that they're probably not meant to be learning, and they're also risking their health.
Yeah.
Something that I was wondering about as well is why wasn't there a decision based around coasting into the summer holidays anyway? It just haven't they only got like about 4 weeks left of school anyway? Was there a sort of rush to get them into like have a bit of education before they break up? Or
see, I thought it could be something to do with helping getting parents back to work and the economy. So I could understand if you are a parent that you cannot go to work unless you've got childcare, and at the minute you cannot get childcare and school is your only option, and you need to make money to pay your bills, mortgage, stuff like that, then
it's true.
I feel like you are left with no choice. That's the only reason. If I had a...
There's people that I know still refused to do it. Still refuse to send them in, even though they're meant to work in. The only reason they've been able to do it is because their partner is working but is able to work from home, so they've decided that no, do you know what, I'm not doing it. Like, they're not going back, like not until I know that it's all nice and it's going to be a nice environment and all this sort of stuff. But it could end up backfiring on them potentially when the other partner has to go back to work and all that sort of stuff. It's such a tough one. It's such a tough one because there is a lot of people out there that have no other options and probably well scared about actually doing it and sending them back, but they're nowhere else to go. Do you know what I mean? Nowhere else to turn to. So
I've got a good one. Does anyone know when the pubs are going to open?
The pubs, straight onto the pubs.
It's later on this month.
Later on this month.
So yeah, my mum works in a pub. Oh, she's landlady. Originally it was July, and she's had an email this month to say that it's probably going to be earlier. But then talking about pubs, all non-essential shops are going to be opening from the 15th of June. Who's going to the shops here?
I will be. I need to go TK Maxx because I've ruined 5 pairs of trackies since I've been in lockdown.
The thing is, this is it. But we've all been shopping. We've all been shopping, just in supermarkets. So why is it okay for the supermarkets to be open? I know they're essential, we need food and that, but I ain't being funny. Right? There's no difference. Obviously, some shops are smaller than others, and you can't create that one-way system. It's a blooming nightmare, but it's still
just follow the arrows, mate. It's easy.
Yeah, but what if you walk past something, you forget it, and then you got to go back? Do you know how awkward that is?
Yeah.
When someone's looking at you like, mate, you're going the wrong way.
Mm.
Well, go to Dunelm in Bedford because that's just ridiculous. Like, you follow the one way, so I just find a flipping pop plant or something. Yeah, very essential, I know. It was essential. She really, really wanted it. So anyway, I was in there and I was following the one-way bit, realised straight away it wasn't the thing that I was in there looking for. So I thought, right, I'm going to get out of here. This is not where it is. I'm going to go to another shop. Started walking against the one-way. Bearing in mind, I was the only person in there. There was a woman that worked there staring at me from about 6 metres away, standing at the bottom of the staircase. Hey, excuse me, you can't go that way. You got to follow the arrows. I was like, oh, okay. How'd you get out? Where's the arrows to lead out? She goes, oh, you're going out? Oh, don't worry about it then. It just sent me back down the one way. I'm like, what is the point? If that is the only way out, right, you're breaking the rules. That's the only way to get out. You've got to go against the arrows. So that didn't make sense.
Mate,
but I understand.
Saying that, right, I went to Asda's the other day, and the whole time we've been going Asda's throughout this whole lockdown, you've had to queue up for at least half an hour before you can get in. Me and Kareem went there on Saturday morning, and they were like, there's not even a queue, what's going on? Like, we got in there, and Asda's was like normal, going back to normal.
Yeah,
there was people everywhere. The queues were going up, like, so yeah, the queues for the shopping. So you know, like if you've got trolley, so every aisle had like 2 or 3 people backed up into the aisle.
Were they 2 meters?
Questionable. Debatable, that was it. They were consciously standing apart, but then there's other customers coming up and down the aisles whilst you're in the queue in an aisle. So it's like, it's almost impossible. And it's like,
well, just want to tell you guys, I can definitely say I haven't queued once to go to the shops. Every time I pulled up in Asda, Sainsbury's, and I've seen a queue, I've turned the car straight back round and either gone to a local shop or gone home.
Do you know what? I can top that. I haven't either. Only because Sarah's obviously working for the NHS and she gets to queue jump. She's got the VIP queue jump. So I've never had to go and do the food shopping because you can only go in one at a time, one per household. I don't know if that's changed. Please say that hasn't changed because it's got me out of doing the food shopping all this time.
Mate, there's no queues anymore anyway. It's just, they're all in there. Everyone's in there.
Oh, no, it's over. My reign of not food shopping is over. But yeah, that's a good thing actually because experience that. Obviously, Sarah doesn't drive, so I take her to food shop and I often wait. If it's too hot, I take a little drive or whatever. But I get to see her go in and it's always mixed. Like sometimes you see people just allow it, and some people sort of give them a little wave, give Sarah a little wave, and sort of respect that. Obviously, she's got her NHS thing, she's a frontliner, but honestly, the evils that I've seen her get from doing it. And do you know what? I was like fairly embarrassed about it at the beginning, but it is what it is. And if they've been given the opportunity to get in first, whether it's because they want them to get in first because they're doing a good thing and working through this pandemic, or whether it's because they think they've potentially got corona, they just want to get them in and out and get rid of them because they could possibly be infected. You know what I mean? I don't know. But
either way though, Max, she's on the front line, right?
Yeah.
And if they're on the front line, at the beginning of this, it was so fearful, like, of everything. Like, everyone literally was going to get it just like that. And everyone was so scared. For people like her to carry on working, like, you can't fault them. So,
especially with mental health and stuff and the anxieties and stuff that she had with health anxiety and all that.
Yeah,
it's madness what she's done. But yeah, they don't know that, and they potentially don't know what she does, and she don't always have a uniform. Do you know what I mean? It's only when she gets picked up from work she'll have a uniform on. But honestly, I remember sitting outside Aldi and there's like 6 people that they wanted to kill her. But it was bacon art. They'd probably been queuing for about 40 minutes. I pull up, drop her off, bomb, she's in. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit harsh, but it's one of those things. You're not going to not use it, are you?
No, definitely not.
Yeah. But how do you think, like, obviously we can't predict it fully, but obviously once this is it's getting looser, the rain's getting looser, there's definitely going to be another hit. They say it's going to be a lot worse. So people are going to have that in their minds. It may not be worse. That's just what we've been told. Everyone's going to react different when it is fully lifted. There's still going to be people edging across the pathways, across roads, and to not get too close. You're not going to want to cough. Are you going to want to cough in public? Are you going to want to?
Yeah, I
sneeze?
cough. I got it. I got a confident cough.
I've been holding my cough in for weeks. I've got a bit of a cough.
Just make sure you put your face in between your elbow, mate, and you'll be all right. Yeah. But I've got a good question. This also goes out to everyone. Will you be shaking hands with people?
Well, that's it. That comes into it, doesn't it? That comes into how people are going to act. That was literally what I was going to say next. Jack.
Like, really?
Where's handshakes going to go? Is everybody going to be getting back to normal straight away? Doubt it. I don't see it happening. I can't. It's never going to be the same again. People are going to be so cautious now of germs, bacteria, viruses, and all the rest of it.
I probably am.
Social awkwardness.
I probably am going to shake hands, but I feel like I'm going to be very conscious once I've shaken someone's hand that I'm going to wash my hands after. And that's only because if someone puts a hand out to me, I'm probably going to shake their hand back.
Yeah, you're not going to say to them, well, just give them a fist bump.
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't shake hands. Give me one of these.
Go to the informal fist pump, mate. That would be better.
Yeah, make that formal.
I normally do that because I get sweaty hands when I get nervous and stuff. So if I'm not at a meeting or something, I'll often, even no matter how executive, whatever, I don't mind. Fist bumps in order, it's done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I've experienced some of it already. I've seen people come in for cuddles and all that sort of stuff. Family members, there's
leaning for a cuddle,
willing to do it already. Yeah, and it's just like, do you know what? I'm split minds all the way. I just can't fully decide on whether or not I'm fully confident in what's being said and what's out there and the things that I'm doing. But at the same time, I don't want to risk it.
One thing I do know, when they open the pubs and when they open the Wetherspoons pub gardens, and about 11 o'clock that night, everyone's going to be cuddling, everyone's going to be close chatting, everyone's going to be sharing cigarettes.
Yeah, I can see
everyone's going to be buying each other drinks.
Yeah, 100%. But we don't want to change that. It's the way we live, you know, like human interaction. Are we going to let this virus stop everything that we've got? Like the way we interact with people? I definitely not. I guess I'm not though, because it hasn't affected me negatively that bad. I've had to stop working, but that's not been that bad. I mean, I've got to chill out, enjoy the sun. But I guess if you've had someone that's got it and suffered with it, or someone that's had it and a family member's died, or a friend or someone you know, you're probably going to be a little bit more conscious of it. But for me,
Yeah, we're just in that funny in between time. I'll say it again and again and again. It's just
weird
time.
weird world.
But yeah, I'm probably going to be part of the guinea pig group, that the first lot to go out with the first wave, people going outside and meeting. And
what do you think Kareen's views on it are? You know, being pregnant?
so I think where she's at.
Oh, wait. Kareen is Leon's girlfriend.
Sorry, Kareen's a partner. So I think where she's at is, and obviously being pregnant at the minute. So we've met up with friends, the garden, stuff like that, and family have been around. And we've been to her parents a few times. She's quite happy to go to the shops that she wants to go to as well. Yeah. I think she knows there's still a risk, but at the same time she's also choosing like living and going out and maybe doing some things like just not breaking the laws, but just
taking advantage of what you can do.
Yeah, and the thing is that I'm not an expert in this by no means at all, but I say it's the best thing to be doing is keeping it as normal as you can. Obviously not putting yourself in risk and stuff, but talking to a family member yesterday, my brother-in-law, and he was saying that what's happening, people are in lockdown and they're self-isolating, this, that and the other, because we're getting told to do it. And you know what? It's the right thing to do, especially if you're showing symptoms and this, that and the other. But there's a lot of people that are going to be locking down and self-isolating just through fear, right?
Yeah.
Just because they don't want to get it, they don't want to do this. And what that's going to do, that's going to lower their immune system so much that when winter comes, they'll probably end up getting cold.
Oh, might get censored for that comment, Max. A few doctors have been censored off YouTube for that.
But this is what I'm saying. But it's facts, though, isn't it? Is it not? That if you lock yourself in, you don't get any vitamin D from the sun.
Yeah.
You don't.
Sorry.
Socialising, just feelings and that interaction with other people and all that stuff for your mental state, your physical state, that ain't good for it, man.
Thing is, if you think you've got a cough or you're showing any symptoms as a human being and know how like serious the virus is, you're not going to be walking around. You're not going to be going to town. You're not going to be going to the supermarket. You're not going to be meeting friends and family. If you feeling like you have symptoms, you're going to be isolating at the moment. Like, I don't think any human being like now would sort of go out and mingle with everyone if they thought they generally had coronavirus.
Okay, all right. So on that one, I know a lot of people that suffer from hay fever, like massively, year in, year out. They really suffer. They get ill. I'm someone that's never experienced it before. However, this year, definitely experienced it. Because I've never experienced it before, I'm only saying I've experienced it because of when I've explained to somebody what I'm going through, or my sinuses and this, that, the other, and the sneezing or whatever it is, they're going, that's hay fever. That's hay fever. Oh, that's definitely hay fever. So I'm not a doctor. People are telling me that it's hay fever. But because I never knew what it was, if I was someone else, there's probably plenty other people out there that get symptoms, whether it's hay fever or a cold, especially with all this stuff going around, they're not going to know. So like I did at the beginning, do you remember when all this first stuff happened, I had that little bit of a cough, and I was like, look, I don't know certain, but because of this, I'm not coming in, I'm keeping myself away, we're self-isolated, end up getting tested a few weeks later and all that sort of stuff, come back clear. But there's still people that are not going to know, and they're going to be so scared that they're not going to leave. But I don't know, it's going to go on.
Ultimately, Max, I feel like we're going to have to get to a point where we're just going to have to live with it, as in like it just goes into the same category as colds, but just either more severe for the elderly.
Put it like this: HIV, AIDS, bird flu, all that sort of stuff still circulating in the world every single day. People die from it every single day. You don't think about that. You don't think, I'm not going to shake this guy's hand because he could have bird flu or he could have AIDS or anything like that, because it's just life. Disease is a part of like the world. So we've got used to it over thousands of years. So although this one is quite bad and it has affected the world, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference on how we actually act as a human race.
And another thing, when me and my sister was talking in the garden as well, and was talking about just other causes of death. So like smoking related deaths is 78,000 a year in the UK alone. So if the virus is not even it's probably about 2/3 of that, I'd say. Is it? No, it's,
I think it's on 36,000 now, or maybe a little bit lower.
Okay, so about half. And there's no daily smoking updates. There's no weekly smoking updates or getting people to stop smoking.
Same as alcohol. Same as all
I don't know what the death rate for alcohol is, but yeah, we just wanted to compare it just to something else. And then we think So like next year, there's not going to be, I don't know this, but I'm assuming there's probably not going to be as big a death toll because we are more aware of it and we're probably going to take measures to stop spreading the disease, is what we're doing now. But are we going to stop people smoking? And they're going them deaths, there are going to be more deaths in smoking this year and next year. Are we going to do anything about that?
No.
Exactly. So it's like life to me, it's got to just start going back on like normal.
Yeah.
What's it like down your neck of the woods, Adam?
Well, to be honest, I'm having a little bit of difficulty relating to this because I think I'm just quite different. I'm just not quite as social as you guys. I'm not craving the social interaction. I do live on my own, which could be argued as a case for, blimey, you might need to get out a bit and interact with people. But I'm so sort of comfortable with my own space. I was thinking about what you guys were saying earlier about who are you going to be picking to sort of link up with, and I'm like, not that worried really, because I miss my sort of insular activities like my board games. But I must admit, I am craving a bit of Frisbee. There's one thing, like I'm looking around sometimes and I'm seeing people play football, and I guess it's foot to foot, the foot's in a shoe. The Frisbee seems to me a potential carrier of a disease, so it seems to exclude that as an activity to me.
No, straight away, mate. Straight away, I'm gonna nip that in the bud, because wear one glove like golfers, one glove Frisbee, or two. You can have one on each hand.
Max, it might put me off my skills, man. I need to be barehanded.
Just don't touch your face and don't let the Frisbee hit in your face
So
either.
there's a bit of that, but I mean, I'm also thinking like, who would I play with? And like, I've got somebody in mind, but he's just as insular as I am, so I don't think he would need a bit of a crowbar to kind of get out of the house.
Come down these ways.
I just know people that are more insular.
We'll get a game on. Let's do it, lads. We'll just get a game of Frisbee on. We'll make sure we've got some disinfectant and some blooming, all the essential stuff. I'm not going to lie, Frisbee boys, Jack, Leon, you don't understand, right? So the last
Max, before you even go on, mate.
I played it.
Don't try and tell me about Frisbee because I know what ultimate Frisbee is, mate, and I'm a king.
All right, let's do this. Let's arrange it. This is live now. Let's do this. Let's arrange a little game. What is it? Me and Adam v you and Leon then, yeah?
If that's how you want it to be, mate, that's how it's got to be.
Mate, I got a little jog on now with this knee, mate. This dodgy knee. Yeah, so back to you, Adam.
Yeah, just thinking about how much would really change. I think that the inclination to sort of push the boundaries isn't really in my DNA really. It's sort of, I'm much more of a kind of person that I'm going to wait for like pretty solid guidance or even like in my own way, somebody to tell me what to do. That's just my personality. So I feel like I'll be waiting for that rather than pushing the boundaries. When it comes to sort of shopping, you guys were talking about, I can't wait to get to this shop or that. I don't do any of that. Do you know what I mean? I go to like my food shopping once a week. I've got it down to an absolute militaristic science. I'm there on like bang on 8 o'clock in the morning. There's a little queue. I just wait there in my car for it to disappear. Then I get my trolley and off I go. And it's sort of something now that's become a bit of a routine for me. I don't like the inconvenience of like you go down the wrong aisle and all that. There's some inconvenience attached to it, but I've still got it down to like less than 40 minutes now, door to door. So that's not really bothered me. I've used Amazon. It just seems to me, I wouldn't say that the virus has suited me, but it's just not been perhaps as difficult a transition for people with my personality as perhaps other people that are struggling with. I'm not envying it. I went on a bike ride the other day and I saw what seemed to be not quite a street party, but there must be about 8 people. Maybe there were couples, I don't know as well. But there was 8 people that were kind of surrounding a case of carling, a box of carling in the middle of the street, not on the road, but on the grass verge bit, that were just chit-chatting. Maybe they are the kind of people that are just looking to have a chat with people and stuff. But I don't crave it. I don't really require it. But I'm also aware that I was tetchy yesterday, and I'm kind of wondering, is there something that I'm not quite aware of around social interaction, that maybe there's something in me that is missing it? I might not feel it exactly, but from a human point of view, is there something kind of missing there that I'm looking for?
Well, my dad is exactly the same as you, Adam, and he hasn't benefited from the lockdown, but he said that the way people act with him now in lockdown, they don't really want to be near him, they don't really want to look at him, they don't really want to speak to other people that they don't know. He's absolutely loving it. And I remember speaking to you as well, and you said you're loving it as well. And some people are socially awkward, or some people just don't like people.
Yeah, I mean, from me as like, having a bit of autism, like it actually, when I go shopping, for example, it removes the social pressure to interact and make eye contact or say excuse me or all that sort of stuff. There's something, and I like the anonymity of the mask on my face. Like, I don't have that pressure to be social kind of thing. I can kind of just shut my barriers down and go. I mean, I went full autism on the first week. I was proper like Rain Man. I was like staring at the floor, like I was not. And I just sort of, I suppose I was a bit traumatized by it anyway, because it was all very weird and out of my comfort zone. But there was definitely a bit of pleasure at that, I don't have to interact with anyone. I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to make eye contact with anyone. I'm allowed to stare at the floor, be a bit weird, and not actually, no one knows who I am kind of thing.
Germaphobes, don't like germs and hands and people, because let's be honest, like, you don't know where people's hands have been. I've never really been one for not wanting to touch a railing and stuff like this, and using my elbows to open doors. I've
Mate,
done
I always touch them by accident. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, but now,
well, we're done.
That metal railing in the tube station in London, mate. That's a bad one.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Like a supermarket, like when you're waiting in a queue and you just touch like the trolley railing, and you're just like, why did I touch that? But also, like, I feel like some people, like when, let's say me and my partner have been on dog walks and stuff, just because they probably haven't had that much human interaction, sometimes we stop and have a chat for like 30 seconds to a minute, even though it's only like very surface level conversation. We say, oh yeah, it's a bit crazy and it's lockdown, so it's not like with everything that's going on. And we let the dogs have a little sniff and stuff like that. And then like, as we walk off, we're like, she was a nice lady, or like, he was a nice guy, and like, think, that was a nice little chat, wasn't it? Yeah.
But do you think you'd have spoke to them if this wasn't going on?
Probably not.
So maybe in a way it's splitting the human race apart, but somehow bringing us together. Oh, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. And it's making people look after themselves a lot more, man. 100%. Like, they're not for everyone. This is what I was going to say next, actually, because people locally to me, very locally, like neighbour locally, people that drink quite a bit, right? Obviously, I think are struggling more so in this social sort of separation. Like Adam was saying, with them people on the street drinking and all that sort of stuff. My neighbours have very much been having barbecues, parties, and all that sort of stuff. You're talking 8s, 9s, like whatever coming round. So that, and I think, I don't know, man. It's like some people, it's making them worse in some sense. But I know exactly what you're saying. People are stopping, like, the amount of people that walk past the front of my house walking their dog, for example, people that wouldn't normally, I would talk to them. You know what I'm like. That's what I was going to say. You know exactly what I'm like, lads. I'll talk to anyone. But they wouldn't necessarily normally stop and talk. But because they are probably missing that human interaction, like you said, Leon, they stop and talk so much. I find myself talking.
And a lot of these people, they might be furloughed, they're sitting at home, working from home, but there's nowhere near probably, I know for some companies there's a lot more workload, but I know most companies it's probably like 3-4 hours a day.
When you think about the drinkers, like I say, the people that go to the pub all the time, like, I think the neighbours definitely are pub people. They like the parties.
On that, Max, do you think that there is some people that delight in defiance? Something about, we're being told what to do, and because I can imagine, I can picture a guy in the pub going, I don't listen to any of the government nonsense, blah blah blah. Just this kind of, there's a certain amount of like prestige that's attached to like going against the grain.
I think it is literally when you look at, say, addiction and stuff. I think obviously people that go to, I'm not saying they're all addicts, right? I'm not saying they're all addicts at all, but when you've got someone that loves a drink, that drink, more often than not, obviously there's people that drink at home and there's people that drink on their own sort of thing. The larger percent of drinkers socialise in a pub. For example, my in-laws, right? They are pub people. They used to own a pub. They was landlords, landladies up in London for many, many years. Sarah grew up in a pub, this, that, the other. They are drinking less because of what's going on, but I know for a fact they are missing that interaction. And
wait, Max, did you say they're drinking less?
They're spending less, sorry. They're drinking probably more.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
They're having people round in their garden, and they're having not just that. Do you know what I mean? Because they are definitely, that drink and that socialising, that comes like hand in hand for some people, and that's why I think they're probably pushing the guidelines. Yeah. Neighbours are having barbecues because of that reason, I believe. I don't know.
The pub that my mum works in, she has like daily customers that come in like after work for a pint, and it's the same people, and there's some guys that just sit in there like sort of all day. Of course, they're quite friendly, but they're going there for the social, and obviously just having a drink. So like, but at the minute while she's doing deliveries, those same customers, she's definitely said that she's given out, like when they did doing collections, she's definitely given out like a collection for 10 people, and she knows those customers, and she knows that they're probably all sitting in a house, all eating it,
Yeah.
and all sitting in the garden, and they're breaking lockdown restrictions.
And it might be, Adam, like you said, that person says, "Oh, I don't listen to them, bloody rubbish. I've lived through this, I've done this." Well, it could be, but you can't put everyone in that box. But I think being a smoker, obviously, not great. I know it's not great, but it's one of those things. And for example, a coffee goes hand in hand. I don't like one without the other. Do you know what I mean? And I think with drinking, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. Special occasions, I don't mind going to the pubs and socialising. I love that element of chatting to people, meeting and all that sort of stuff. But I'm an idiot when I drink. So I just don't do it. But I know and I understand that it comes hand in hand, like with that socialising, that getting around the table, acting like silly, telling stories. You know, when you start drinking on your own, that's when it becomes a problem. So there's going to be, again, it's mixed, but there's going to be a lot of people that are drinking massively that have decreased the amount that they're drinking because they're now training, they're looking after their fitness because they believe that's what you need to do to beat viruses and stuff, which is 100% look after your body and that. Then you're also going to get the people falling into the pit of just dwelling and sitting there drinking on their own or with their partner or whatever. Some people are going to come out of this. Really,
that's
really
a conversation for another
Yeah,
day.
I mean, that is a good podcast. Like that one is about addiction.
Well, addiction,
I think we
that's
should get that
exactly
in there.
Yeah, 100%. Because any addictions that I have went through the roof at the lockdown. Through the roof.
All right, what are we saying then, boys?
I think
How
we
we
just
gonna end it?
How are we going to summarise? We've got to have a little summary.
So like the chat today, obviously myself, Jack, Adam, Max, we're not professionals. We're not here to give advice on any of the virus lockdown restrictions and how you should be feeling about them and what you should be doing.
We're just here. We just want to share our opinion, let you guys know what we think. Hopefully it'll give you some information. And
Let us know what you think as well. And stick stuff in the comments if you want us. Certainly with subjects as well. We're always keen on starting a debate on whatever people want to hear. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But cheers, guys. See you
Thank
next
you very
time.
much.
All right. We've been here to listen.
Good to hear.